Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. Roses are not only beautiful, they're fragrant as well. But what happens when our rose plant starts to die back? Is that it for our rose plant? Should we get ready to say goodbye? Absolutely not. In today's video, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about rose dieback. We're going to talk about how you, my fellow home gardeners, can easily and clearly identify rose dieback. What causes rose dieback? How you can treat it, and of course, how you can prevent it altogether from happening to you and to your beautiful roses. So for those of you looking for that online gardening channel, which offers tips, tricks, easy, yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you enjoy the content of my videos, don't be shy, guys. Show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. It's super easy for you to do, yet it's super pleasing and rewarding to me. Now come with me, let's get gardening. So what is rose dieback? Strictly speaking, as the name implies, rose dieback is when the branches or the canes of your rose plant not only start to change color from bright, vibrant green to dark brown or even black and start to die off. Sometimes only a short portion of the stem or the cane starts to die off, die back. In extreme cases, the entire stem or cane can die off all the way down to the base of your plant. Rose dieback is not uncommon at all. Rose dieback happens to all of us home gardeners. So if you do see rose dieback on your rose shrub or your climbing rose or even your rose tree, don't panic. Don't be scared. The key here is to identify it early on and to treat it properly. Hence, salvaging and saving your beautiful rose plant. Now that we spoke about the definition of dieback on roses, I wanted to move forward and to show you exactly what you, my fellow home gardeners, should be looking out for, exactly what rose dieback looks like. So come with me. Right over here is one very clear example of rose dieback. You could see that this cane right over here has changed colors from vibrant green to dark brown and black. Here is yet another very clear example of rose dieback. You could see that the color of the stem changed from green to dark brown, and if you look in closer, you could see that this end of the stem is no longer solid. It has a hole in the center, meaning that this portion of the stem is not only completely dead, it's also hollow in the middle. So regardless of the coloring, whether it's black or dark brown, when you see that the canes or the stems on your rose plants start to change colors from green to brown or black, this is exactly what rose dieback looks like. Rose dieback happens for a variety of reasons. However, if majority of your rose plant, 50% or more, is still vibrant green and very much alive, you're able to save your rose plant with some careful pruning. Proper care, maintenance, and a little bit of patience is all you're going to need to get your roses back in shape. Rose dieback is typically caused by either improper pruning technique, insect or pest damage, improper placement of your rose shrub, as well as fungal disease. Most common cause of rose dieback is incorrect pruning techniques. Pruning cuts has to be one of the most common ways how dieback starts. Whether we cause physical damage to the tissues of the cane during the pruning process, or while we're pruning our rose shrubs, we introduce fungal canker into the canes, which is why it is very, very important, crucial in fact, to always make sure to sterilize our pruning shears or scissors before we start pruning our rose plant. One of the easiest and cheapest ways to sterilize our gardening tools, our pruning shears, is using hydrogen peroxide, 3% hydrogen peroxide. Allow the blades of your pruning shears or scissors to soak in this hydrogen peroxide mixture for at least 5 to 10 minutes before you start pruning your rose plant. When pruning the branches or the canes of your rose plant, remember to always cut above the outward facing node. Here's a very clear example of an outward facing node. You must make the cut no more than 3 to 5 millimeters above the outward facing node. And remember to always cut at a 45-degree angle. Why you must never leave more than 5 millimeters above the outward facing node when pruning is because if you leave more than 5 millimeters, you are risking leaving a snag, which is exactly what can potentially lead to rose dieback. Now that you have identified rose dieback on your rose plant, what should be the first step which we must take? The first and very important step is to cut off the dieback section or the dieback portion on your rose plant. Everything that has turned brown or black in color must be completely cut off. Again, we want to make the cut at 45-degree angle to prevent fungus from entering, or bacteria from entering the stem or the branch of our rose plant, like this. Now, what you could see that there's clearly damage to this stem or this cane. You could see that it's not solid inside. You could see the hole inside, which is a clear indication that this stem is in the process of dying. Now, you must always look down where you made the cut to make sure that the rest of the stem or the branch is solid inside, and you could see that there's still a hole left. Now that I cut off the visible dieback on this cane, you could see that there's still damage left to this cane. You could see that it's hollow on the inside, that there's clearly an indication that this stem will continue to die back. So what do we do in this instance? In this instance, we continue to prune down lower until we see no more damage to the rest of the stem. I cut off an extra piece from the stem, and you could see that it was hollow throughout the entire piece of the stem. Let's look at what we have happening now. You could still see minimal damage to this cane, which is why we don't want to leave this minimal damage on your rose shrub either. So what do? We keep pruning at 45-degree angle until this damage completely disappears. Next possible cause for rose dieback is fungal disease. How can we identify fungal disease on our rose shrub? Very easy, actually. We look at the coloring of the leaves on our rose plant. Any discoloration to the foliage, whether the leaves turn yellow, whether you see black spots, powdery mildew, any of those are an indication of a fungal disease on our rose shrub. Fungal disease weakens our rose plant. Healthy rose plant is less likely to experience dieback versus a stressed out, sick plant. So if you see any indication of a fungal disease on your rose shrub, make sure that you remove all of the impacted leaves, discard of them accordingly, and treat your rose plant with either neem oil or antifungal solution. Most often, rose dieback only impacts 1 or 2 branches on your entire rose plant, while the rest of your rose plant continues to thrive and bloom. When you are making the cut to remove the dieback, portion on your rose shrub, always remember to look at the remainder of the stem. Make sure that the rest of the stem where you make the cut will be solid and white in color like so. When making the cut, please take a moment to ensure that the remainder of the stem is solid and white in color all the way through to the bottom, to the base of your plant. Never leave any bruising behind. Make sure that you cut in entirety to the healthy part of the stem. Why? Because if you leave any bruising on your rose plant, it will continue to die back all the way down, hence killing off the entire branch like you see right over here. Pruning is very important, but it's also very important to know when to prune and when not to prune our rose shrubs. Pruning during extreme weather conditions can also easily lead to rose dieback. Whether you're pruning your rose shrub during very cold, frigid winter temperatures or during very hot, humid summer temperatures. Pruning your rose shrub during very cold weather can allow frost to penetrate cut ends and freeze the moisture within the cells, causing them to burst, hence cause dieback. Cutting into thicker stems during hot, humid summer days can lead to drying and desiccation of the entire stem, hence causing dieback. You can easily tell whether pruning was the culprit or the cause for the dieback on your rose shrub by looking at the exact location of the dieback. Right over here, you could see that the dieback has indeed occurred at the end point of the cuts, where the cuts were made on these canes. Hence, you clearly know that pruning was the cause for the dieback on these particular stems or canes. Next, a very common cause for rose dieback is the location. Roses prefer to be planted in a location that receives at the least 6 hours of bright, direct sunlight per day. Also, rose shrubs need enough spacing for lots of air circulation. If your rose shrubs are planted too close together, they will not be healthy, they will not be happy. Lack of air circulation due to close planted rose shrubs is the main and leading cause for fungal disease. When removing diseased or impacted foliage from your rose shrub, make sure that not only you get rid of it accordingly. We never compost diseased foliage. Also, please take a minute to look around at the soil surface. If you see any impacted or diseased leaves on the soil surface below your rose shrub, make sure that you pick it up as well. Why? Because fungal disease will overwinter in the soil and will come back to attack your plant next growing season. If you are experiencing discoloration on the foliage of your rose shrub and need help with correctly identifying what disease is impacting your beautiful rose shrub, I have a video on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor, where I talk about most common diseases which impact and attack the foliage of our rose shrubs. I talk about identification, symptoms, as well as treatment and prevention. So if you're interested, I will link that video up above so you could check it out as well. Next, very common and possible cause for dieback on our rose shrubs is insect damage. Why? Because insect damage causes tremendous stress to our rose shrub, hence causing dieback of the stems, canes, and branches. We should visually inspect the foliage of our rose plants on a daily basis. If we start seeing any physical damage to a rose plant, we should act quickly and accordingly. We must immediately treat the foliage of our rose plant with either neem oil or insecticidal soap to prevent pest infestation. I have a video on my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, where I share with you most common insects or pests which love to make holes and physical damage to the foliage of our rose shrubs. So if you're interested, check that video out as well. Next possible cause for rose dieback is drastic temperature fluctuations. So if you know that you live in an area where the temperatures go from too hot to too cold rather quickly, make sure you have the proper equipment, proper gardening tools, such as a frost protection cloth to keep your rose plants healthy and happy. Next possible cause for rose dieback is improper nutrient levels in the soil. We must remember to fertilize our rose plants, especially during their active growing and blooming stage. This is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content of this video, don't be shy, guys. It's super easy for you to do, yet it's super pleasing to me. Show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below as well. Lately, many more of you have been writing to me, sharing your gardening experiences with me, asking me for tips and advice, and I truly appreciate each and every single one of you. I take the time to read each and every single one of your comments and personally respond to each and every single one of you. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, please don't wait any longer, guys. Do so today. Just go below this video and click the subscribe button. If you want to get notifications every time I'll upload a new video, please click the bell icon below as well. Stay healthy, happy, be well, each and every single one of you. And happy gardening, guys. And I'll see you again in my new upcoming videos. Bye, guys.